It was one of the wildest and most terrifying stories in paranormal history. A compelling ghost-haunting tale with a murderous backstory attached that could induce nightmares among those that heard it. But was it all facts, or was it just fiction? Let's take a look back at the Amityville incident and find out what actually happened. On the evening of November 13th of 1974, in a very quiet Long Island suburb, 6 members of the DeFeo family were found dead with gunshot wounds, lying face down in their beds. The only surviving member in the family was 23-year-old Ronald DeFeo, and he became the primary suspect in the mass murder case. As the local police conducted their thorough investigation pertaining to the tragic deaths, Ronald would be interviewed about what really transpired. Originally, he denied he had anything to do with what happened to his siblings or his parents. In fact, he implicated who may have been involved instead. But the intense interrogation would raise a lot of red flags for the detectives. DeFeo would eventually confess to being the culprit and murdering his own family in cold blood. As he was tried for the heinous crime, Ronald said unknown voices told him to murder his family. His defense team would claim insanity. The lawyers lobbied for a reduced sentence because of the alleged mental illness he suffered from. They also conveyed in court he had a serious drug problem that went unchecked. Ultimately, after the 7-week trial, DeFeo was found guilty on 6 counts of second-degree murder and sentenced to 6 sentences of 25 years to life. Nearly a year after the outcome of the horrific incident, the 5-bedroom house on 112 Ocean Avenue was listed on the market once again. The enormous home with a built-in swimming pool and a boat dock attached was selling far below its true value. It caught the eyes of George and Kathleen Lutz when they were in the process of house hunting. The married couple had 3 children and were looking to plant roots for their large family. During their inspection of the home, their real estate agent was very forthcoming and informed the two of the DeFeo crime that happened earlier that year. While the horrifying information would have made most people reconsider, the two decided to buy the home regardless. The Lutz family would move in shortly after the sale. Within a few days of living there, they started to notice something seemed off. An absurd amount of flies seemed to be drawn to certain bedrooms in their new home, as if something rotten attracted them. A disgusting green slime-like liquid could be seen coming out of cracks in the walls. And the entire residence began to exude a very foul odor. Not only did the house seem to be affected by the unknown, so did the family's behavior. George began waking up regularly when the clock struck 3:15. Oddly enough, this was the approximate time in which the DeFeo murders had occurred. The entire family claimed to see scary animal figures floating outside their windows on multiple occasions. The Lutz family members found themselves feeling colder and colder. Despite these being very strange occurrences, it would only be the beginning of the horror. As the days went on in the home, something or someone would make their presence known to the Lutz family. Sounds of doors slamming began to happen often. Everyone began hearing eerie whispering, with no plausible explanation. Things got so bad for them, the family decided to flee the home in the dead of night. In just under a month of living in the Amityville house, George and his wife decided to sell it back to the bank and move far, far away. George and his wife would eventually break their silence and tell the haunting story to the world.
At first, just moving into the house was fine. It's a lovely house.
Yeah.
And we enjoyed moving in. Within a week, Kathy's hand had been touched by something that we discussed and couldn't explain. It was just something unseen. Within
I mean, this is in the daylight, or was it?
Yes,
It was during the day.
right.
Okay.
We also had hordes of flies that would appear within 2 rooms. And no matter how many times we would kill them, they would reappear.
All right, now flies can be a real problem in this part of the country in the summer,
Sure.
in any house, you know.
But if you have 2 or 3 or 4 within one room, that could be commonplace.
And it
But
was
when
the
you're
winter.
talking over 100,
Well, this was the winter.
yes.
And you're talking about how many?
Over 100 flies.
Over 100
at
flies.
one time. And then you'd go around and kill them. They'd be lying on the floor. You'd come back an hour later and they would be there.
The events that took place created a great deal of intrigue in the paranormal world. It became one of the first supposed ghost hauntings that went mainstream. The Amityville saga has been retold in countless books and in movies for the decades that followed. Some claim it was a hoax made for profit. Others believe the DeFeo murders did in fact haunt the residents that occupied the space. But what do you think about the Amityville story? Was it fact or fiction? Leave a comment below and let me know.